Hello, employees. Today we'll be starting our first module of our on the water training modules where we will be teaching you guys about dock and lift installations while also having great customer care. And today we have module one where we'll be talking about the safe dock installation setup and learning and teaching you guys how to look for different pre-installation checks and kind of the materials and what you need to have before even starting the installation. So, first, before you even get out on the job site, you need to look at the job order, understand what the job is about, understand the customers that you're working for, so you understand the type of people that they are, so you can build a great relationship with them and understand all the materials and stuff that you need for the job. As we understand that there are different jobs, whether it's installating or removing decks or just repairs. So you need to understand what type of job it is before you get out on the job site. But now you're on the job site. What do we do? What do we need to do first before we can start the job? So, step one is the assessment of the job site. So, first, you need to check for the water depth. Okay, so you see this guy in this picture, he's going out checking for the water depth. You need to understand how low or how high the water is because that can affect a lot of things when installating, whether your dock's going to be moving a lot, if it's going to be quicker, if there's going to be any hazards that come with it. So you need to understand the water depth. The shoreline, you need to understand where your access points are so you can move your equipment around. Okay, so you need to find where the shoreline is, where your access points, and where you can be able to move equipment around. And then you need to find out what are the possible weather conditions for this job. Is it going to be a clear day? Is it going to be a good day? It's going to be a hot day. You're going to be sweating a lot, or is it going to be a really rainy day where you're going to really have to tie a lot of things down and make sure you have more safety cautions with your equipment because everything's kind of moving around. So you need to understand the possible weather conditions. Look for uneven ground, kind of obstacles in the way. Okay, so you need to figure out where are your areas, that you need to work around. Where are the uneven ground that we kind of need to even out? What are the obstacles in the way of moving equipment? Moving our docks around, and then what are the unstable conditions? If they're unstable, they're in the way. We need to talk to our customers and say, hey, we got some unstable conditions where we want the dock at. Can we move it to a different place? So we need to make sure that all our conditions are stable and it works well with our customer. And then lastly, you need to confirm that the site is clear and ready for the installation to start. So we need to make sure everything's good. We got a clear path to move our equipment, got a clear path to put our dock in, and get the job rolling. Equipment and materials check. Step two. So before you get on the job, you need to find out what equipment you need. But when you get out to the job, you need to make sure one last time that every single tool, every part for the docks, and all the equipment for the lift, you need to find out if there is any damage to them before the installation. If you guys are bringing out stuff out to the installation spot and you're installing them before you even look at any damage, that could cause a lot of problems and slow you down and cause a lot of delays. So make sure that we figure out all the damage to our parts beforehand, so we can limit any delays that can happen. Make sure that all the required materials are on site and they're good quality to use. So you should have done this before the job, but one last time before you start, make sure that you have all your required materials for the job. And if you do, make sure that they're all good quality so we don't have any delays in the project. And then lastly, if you do find any damaged equipment, hopefully you didn't. Hopefully you did a good job at getting equipment that wasn't damaged before you left for the job site. But if you do find any that are damaged, replace or list them down so we can go replace them back when we get back to the office, so we can replace any equipment that are damaged. Step three, safety preparation. Now this is a big one. This is a big one. We're dealing with a lot of equipment, dealing with water that could be, a safety hazard in itself. You guys need to be wearing the proper safety safety gear for the project. Okay, so put on and wear the required protective gear needed for the job. So you guys see in this picture, he's got he's got a water vest to help keep people up in the water. We There's a lot of jobs where we got to get in the water, fix the docks under the water, and this way, if you aren't very skilled at swimming, this will help you out. Review the safety procedures for the job with the rest of the team. So we want everybody to be on the same page about what safety procedures we have for the job, what things we can't and can do, and we need to discuss that as a team. We can't just have one person knowing and not everybody knowing. So we need to make sure that everybody on the team knows what we're doing. Then we need to make sure that our work area is clear and organized. I know this doesn't seem like a huge thing, but it is. You need to make sure that everything is organized in a safe place and you don't have problems where people are going to be stepping over and tripping over drills, where you're going to have just stuff all over the place where you can't grab it in a timely manner, where you're trying to drill something in and you need a hammer real quick or whatever. You need stuff organized. You need stuff clear. You need stuff out of walking ways. You need to make sure that this all looks good for safety. Job site communication, step four. Now this is a big one. When dealing with a lot of these equipment and dealing with a big project like a dock installation, we need to all be on the same page and we need to be communicating a lot. So as a team, we need to review each other's roles and responsibilities so each member knows. Okay, so if you're the guy that's setting up the water poles to stable the dock in place, we know, hey, you're on it. So if anybody needs to come about, hey, this water pole is not in the right place, we need to fix it. They're gonna be talking to you. We need to ask any questions about the job before their operations begin. Okay, any question is a good question. You need to ask any questions about the job. Anything. We need all the questions answered. So everybody's on the same page. Nobody's confused, and we can have a smooth operation when installing these docks. And then lastly, which is the most important part, we need to go through the project plan step by step with the customer so that they understand as well. Okay, the biggest thing that we want to do is have great relationships with our customers. So if our customers know exactly what our plan is step by step, then they will feel comfortable with us that we know what we're doing and they will understand exactly what's going on. They're paying a lot of money for docks to be put in or removed or repairs to be done, and it honestly is their right to know step by step what we're doing, so they understand what they're paying for. Okay, key takeaways that we want you guys to get from this module. You need to have good preparation to have a more efficient and safer installation process. Okay, preparation is everything. If you don't have a smooth preparation before the process starts for installating, then I guarantee the rest of the installation process is not going to go as well. Okay, so you need to have a good preparation. You need to be organized. You need to make sure that everything's set before you actually start operating. And then every job, no matter what it is, so removing docks, installating docks, doing any repairs, this should be the start of the same pre installation process every time. Okay, you need to go through these steps every time before you start installating. Now, review some questions I want you guys to think about as we wrap up this module. What hazards should be checked first for the job? So think about it. What hazards should you check for the job? What equipment should be inspected first before starting the project? So we talked about that at the beginning of this module. So what equipment should be inspected? Why is communicating important before starting the installation? That's probably the most important question to think about. And why is communication so important with everyone, not just the co-workers, but customers as well? And lastly, make sure to use the checklist in the module when you get out there on the job site, so you make sure that everything's in check, everything looks good, and you're ready to rock and roll for the customers and perform the job at an efficient rate.